and welcome. Saturday morning cartoons, X-Men animated series. Aren't you having fun? So many of you have told me how much you enjoy this. I've been on streams. I see the comments. I'm getting direct messages. I'm getting requests for other stuff. Guys, I only have so much time. I can't review 4 or 5 other animated shows, cartoons from our past. I wish I could, but I can't. It's just not in the cards right now. Maybe someday this is a full-time gig and that could happen. But here we are doing the rewatch, doing my pop perspective, which is basically my reaction, my thoughts. We are at season 2. We're several episodes in. This is called A Rogue's Tale. And yeah, by the name, it is basically Rogue's backstory, basically kind of elaborated on what we've already seen previously. Now, what is interesting is it opens with Mystique and Mr. Sinister and commenting and discussing how Xavier is not there. Like he's figured out or he knows Xavier's not there. It's your chance to, quote, reclaim your daughter, which I thought was a very interesting choice of words. And of course, the pun is intended, sinister laugh. Yeah, it's a sinister laugh. So then you have the Brotherhood of Mutants, right? So you have this Brotherhood of Mutants, Pyro, Avalanche, Blob. X-Men are there. There's some scuffling. I don't even know this is a fight. There's some scuffling, right? Now, Rogue, she's having this scream, this reaction to all of this. And when she wakes up in the mansion, Jean is there and she's trying to identify the woman. And it's really Mystique. We know it's Mystique. But the visions are just totally freaking her out. Rogue goes outside. She ends up where Wolverine. By the way, why is shirtless Wolverine a thing? Like that's totally a thing. Like even in the animated shows, we got shirtless Wolverine running around, which made me kind of smile and laugh. Anyway, Rogue accidentally, so she breaks a log. She hits Gambit. So Rogue is literally hallucinating, and Jean is trying to get inside Rogue's mind. And when she does, she starts to realize, listen, there's another presence in there, right? And Rogue is still freaking out, right? Anyway, she flies literally through the mansion, makes these giant holes, which I got to be honest, the animation was really, really good on all of that, by the way. Now, Storm follows. They end up at the Statue of Liberty, but reality is she's so overreacting to her visions and her hallucinations, and it becomes very dangerous. She's very dangerous, right? And then it ultimately becomes another battle. Blob is there. Mystique's revealed. And Mystique is knocking out Storm, becoming Storm. And you end up with this big battle with the Brotherhood and the X-Men again. And ultimately you see that, I got to be honest, the Brotherhood of Mutants is really played very, very well. They're normally not presented. Like in the previous episodes, I don't think we really look at Avalanche and Pyro and Blob as really being able to hold their own against the X-Men. But here they're pretty formidable. It's actually not so bad. And Storm is the one who kind of does the hurricane tornado and kind of lifts them away to allow for this interaction. Whenever we do, Jean's saying, well, there's a shapeshifter out here, right? And then it becomes a Rogue Mystique thing, and we start to unravel and unpack the first kiss, which was Cody, the boyfriend, and then her dad calling her a disgrace because she's a mutant, and of course she runs away. And she meets this woman, which is Mystique, training her to be part of the Brotherhood, and then stealing this jet. Now, this is where it gets really, really good. And I've said all along, the thing about Marvel and X-Men animated series is that it was a strategy to tie back to their comic books, sell action figures, get kids really interested in different characters. And here they bring in Miss Marvel, the actual character that matters. Carol Danvers, the original Carol Danvers, Miss Marvel in her black outfit. And there's this little fight. And then, of course, Rogue is absorbing her powers, causing the jet to crash. And, of course, there's all of this sort of like mind trap stuff, right? Like Rogue is trapped and doesn't know what to do. And you see Miss Marvel, this hallucination of her, like, you stole my powers, you stole my life. And she's just a mess. And you realize that she had run away from some of this stuff. This is when Xavier had found her and basically blocked this memory. Like if I figured out a way to put it in a compartment, and Mystique still trying to play Mama, which I think is really weird, by the way. And that Rogue still has these powers, and it's a Rogue versus Mystique thing. And Jean is on Cerebro trying to intercede, which I think is really kind of a cool element. We don't get enough of that. I will say it's a little weird how she keeps moving around so quickly, getting from place to place without any problems whatsoever, but maybe I'm just not following things clearly. And Rogue is fighting Miss Marvel in her mind, but you have Giant Jean in her Rogue's mind, which I got to be honest, for little kids, again, they do a great job. Let's introduce some interesting concepts, especially with Jean. I'm not sure it's spelled out or explained, which is even better because it's something that makes you curious and you'd want to find out more. Sometimes you don't have to explain things. It's okay if it's done right. Anyway, so Miss Marvel gets caged up, trying to comfort Rogue. And then Mystique is kind of like this whole, victim. How can you do this to me thing? And Rogue is like, listen, I'm an X-Men now. And when Rogue goes to visit Carol, actually, who's still in the coma, there's the blip and the smile. That's how the episode closed. I'm like, man, it isn't exactly the Avengers annual number 10 that, is so dynamic. Obviously, it starts with Spider-Woman and everything else. This is one of the best comic books ever, by the way. I got to add it on my list of things to talk about with Avengers. Maybe the greatest of all. One of the Why Is It Great videos or something like that. Because Avengers Annual 10 is a fantastic book, and that's where all this is lifted from. These elements, and it calls right back to that. This episode also really cements how affectionate Gambit's trying to be. He's very comforting, very kind. You really get to see moments of that, which I think is also very, very important in the grand scheme of the Gambit-Rogue relationship. And then I got to be honest, I think sometimes these episodes have been clunky and kind of shoehorned in, but this little tragic backstory was done so well. The execution and everything is really, really good. I'm so happy that they did it because I think it really does work. So, you guys tell me what you guys think. Compare this to like Gambit's backstory. I felt, and I think it's because we had the big move from here to there. It wasn't like still in New York. It was like some big major thing to go to New Orleans, and it created like enough of an inconsistency with the pacing that it kind of messed it up. This didn't feel that way. This was a much better executed episode and definitely was more entertaining. So anyway, that's my take on it. Saturday morning cartoons. Now, I didn't carve out another video, so I thought what I would do is when I stop, I'll go ahead and give you a few of some retro commercials, give you a feel of what Saturday morning cartoons was kind of like. There'd be commercial breaks, and these were the kinds of things that they try to sell us or that we were interested in. Very, very small sample. I'm going to have to try to carve out a few more because I got to kind of run them through the YouTube thing and make sure they'll go through okay and it won't continue to give me claims or strikes or whatever. I always have to kind of make sure I navigate the system the best I can. But part of why I wanted to do this was not only just to revisit great content, was also to try to like kind of get my arms around that experience of every Saturday morning having cartoons and nerd time. Basically, this is what every Saturday morning cartoon time was about nerd time. So I'll throw that at the end of this so you can kind of get a little feel of some of the things. And for some of the cartoons, I might be able to play a few seconds rather than a whole song or a whole intro or something like that. Just give you a little taste of some things like that. So you guys tell me what you think, if you like it or not. I'm going to put that on here for a change. See, we'll try that out. So thank you again for watching. I am Pops. Appreciate you so much. Thank you. Be well.
That's me. Come to the Honeycomb Hideout.
Honeycomb's big. Yeah. It's not small. No. Honeycomb's got a big bite. A good breakfast featuring honeycomb gives you a big bite. What's the prize? A monster mint. Is mine creepy? Creepy. How do you do? Want an especially marked box of post honeycomb cereal.
On to McDonald's. Who's the McFriendliest fellow in town? Who's our McFavorite hamburger clown? Whose feet are funniest? Whose smile is sunniest? Ronald McDonald. Who's the McBravest McClown of all? In the spring, summer, winter, and fall.